Back in November, I released a video going over my home office and desk setup. Now at the time, I worked exclusively from home, and what was shown was a mixture of my personal and professional life all in one. But the one thing that I didn't explain in that video was that sometimes I really struggled to work from that space. And by the end of last year, I was starting to burn out, so I did a bit of soul searching to try to figure out how best to move forward. And that's when I realized that many of my favorite YouTubers have dedicated workspaces. And if I wanted to take things to the next level, it probably made sense for me to do the exact same thing. So over the first few months of the year, I toured spaces before landing on a 400 square foot office about 6 minutes from my house. So in today's video, I'm going to show you my YouTube studio, including all the things I had to buy new for the space and things I borrowed from home. And at the end, I'll let you know how it's impacted my productivity and where I'm going from here. When you walk through the doors, you enter the reception area, or at least what was supposed to be a reception area. But for me, it's a mixture of a storage area, server room, and a kitchenette. Now when I moved in, this area was completely empty, so everything that's here I've added myself. Knowing how small this space was, I picked up this TechMojo 6U server rack and mounted it to the wall. Now the reason I wanted this wall mounted was both for security and for space savings. At just under 400 square feet, any extra floor space is really welcome. Inside the rack is familiar equipment. At the top is the Ubiquiti Dream Machine Pro. This isn't the one that I have at home, but a second one. I stuck with Ubiquiti so I could control everything from one app. This also let me easily move over my Unify XG 10GB switch from my home office. I didn't really need this there because my office has 3 Ethernet jacks and I have 3 computers in the room. So I just picked up longer Ethernet cables and moved the switch here. Under the switch is my Synology RS1221 Plus, which used to live in my home server rack. I used to have a bunch of SSDs in here for all my current projects, but I decided to consolidate everything to my spinning drives and replace the SSDs with 24TB Seagate IronWolf Pro drives. Now that was expensive, but now that I have 2 servers in 2 locations, I've set them to mirror one another. That's allowed me to discontinue my C2 backup, and that means that these drives will pay for themselves in about 2.5 years. I know that this isn't the perfect backup solution, but for me, it's good enough. Also in the rack is the cheapest Mac Mini that money can buy. I run Masterplan Music from here and remote in from my MacBook Pro whenever I need to access Meld, which is the software that I'm using to run the 24/7 stream. And just like at home, I have 1 gig fiber here. But the interesting thing about this office is that I actually have 3 providers to choose from, and the business class internet has been flawless, not a single dropout. Now, I wired everything here myself through the drop ceiling, and I made custom cables after finding out that the Cat 6 cables that I picked up from Home Depot were actually Cat 5e cables. I know you shouldn't buy Ethernet cables from Home Depot. I don't know what I was thinking. Now, I ended up learning that these were Cat 5e cables after weeks of random disconnects. And eventually, I cut into the cables and saw that there wasn't shielding. Lesson learned. Under the server, I have an Elgato green screen, something I've really wanted for a while. I've used this to experiment with different video concepts, and in the videos I've used it in, the feedback's been really positive. Next to that is the first in a series of IKEA shelving units that I picked up because I thought that they looked nice and they were relatively inexpensive. The first one here is where I keep my tools in a junk drawer. On top is an Epson ET2800 wireless inkjet printer. The reason that I have a printer is I like to print out my plans for episodes and keep them on hand while I'm building. This is easily my favorite printer that I've ever owned, beating out even my LaserJet printer because of the way that it handles ink. You refill it with bottles instead of cartridges, which is way cheaper and much less wasteful. In my opinion, it's how printers should have been designed from the start. Next to that is a charging station for spare camera batteries and other gear. It's not pretty, but it works nonetheless. Next to that is storage for camera gear, PC parts, and equipment boxes. You just never know when you'll need something, so it's nice to have everything super accessible. And next to that, there's a bunch of general office supplies, nothing all that exciting. The kitchenette includes a mini fridge, microwave, coffee grinder, and pot, as well as a tea box that my wife gave me. It's basically my caffeine corner, and it's absolutely essential for any YouTuber. Next to the coffee pot is a digital calendar that syncs my work and personal calendars. I would not recommend this device. It requires a third-party app to sync, despite basically being a big Android tablet, and it has weekly updates that block the entire screen. Not exactly ideal for a calendar. On the left-hand side of the room is a frame drawing that my mom drew. My sister gave this to me, and it's one of my most prized possessions. My mom passed away years ago, and this makes me feel connected to her, and it's just really nice for me to have a daily reminder of her. Under that is an air purifier sent my way by FlexiSpot. They actually sent this to me with my desk when I accepted a sponsorship from them, and it's been an absolute lifesaver. We've been getting a ton of smoke from the Canadian wildfires, and this has kept the inside air as fresh as can be. Next to that is a cheap robot vacuum mop combo. I picked this up because I declined janitorial services in this building because they come way too early and would disrupt my video production schedule. Now the main studio is slightly larger than the reception area, and the echo drops the moment you walk in. That's thanks to the acoustic slat panels I picked up from the Wood Veneer Hub. These are similar to the ones I have at home. However, tariffs and missing out on sales made them significantly more expensive than they were when I purchased the ones at home. Because of that, I went with these painted gray panels instead of the walnut panels I have at home. I think they still look pretty good, and they cost about a quarter of what the walnut panels would have cost. And to the right of the door is a love seat that I picked up from IKEA. This is where I often work on scripts, and when my kids come to the office, it's where they hang out most of the time. Above the love seat is a picture of the Madison skyline, which I took for a plan a few years back. On the other side of the door is a thermostat, and it's one of the reasons that I actually picked this space. My home office would routinely hit 80 degrees Fahrenheit with all the PC gear that I have, so having a dedicated HVAC here is absolutely critical to my comfort. Next to that is an industrial-style IKEA storage unit for extra gear, cables, and lighting. Besides that is a matching bookshelf, which serves as the backdrop for my streams and videos. Most of the items in the bookshelf came from home, with the exception of the play button, which is actually a duplicate. Now, interestingly, this new play button is only half the size of the original. Not sure why, but I think that all of them are this size now. To light the bookshelf, I have two practical lights, both of which are Amaran T4C tube lights standing up in Nanlite tube stands. I have these plugged into Govee smart plugs, which I control through my Stream Deck. I also have a bookshelf lamp with a Govee smart bulb in it, which adds a bit of background separation, and it's also controllable through my Stream Deck. Moving over to my desk, it's a FlexiSpot E7 Pro from that sponsorship I mentioned earlier. This thing is rock solid, beautiful, and huge. It's a sit-stand desk, but I'll admit that I rarely stand because my camera's wall-mounted and it gets in the way. To the left of the desk is my gaming PC, which is in a Fractal North case, my absolute favorite case in the world. I built this specifically for this office and completely maxed it out. It's got a Ryzen 9 9950X3D processor, 96 gigs of RAM, and a 5090. And I went with an Asus ProArt motherboard, mostly because it has 10 gig networking built in. On the right-hand side of the desk is my streaming PC. Now, initially, I tried to use older gear I had on hand, but I had tons of OBS encoder issues, so I ended up custom building a PC for this as well. The streaming PC has a Ryzen 5 7600X with 32 gigs of RAM and a NVIDIA 5080 in it. Finally, we have my third computer, my editing machine. It's the same fully spec'd out M2 Ultra Mac Studio that I used to have at home. Now, at first I planned on selling it and just running everything off my M4 MacBook Pro and carrying that back and forth each day. To make that work, I picked up two CalDigit TS5 Plus Thunderbolt 5 docks and set one up at each location. Now, on paper, the TS5 looked perfect. 10 gig networking, dual Thunderbolt display support, and Thunderbolt 5 for some level of future-proofing. But in reality, it's been an absolute mess. This thing constantly overheats, which means displays turning off and networking disconnecting, which is less than ideal when you're editing. And even after 3 firmware updates, the problem hasn't gone away. Now, to their credit, CalDigit support has been on point. They've been very responsive and they're very active on Reddit. But unfortunately, the product's just bad and my issues remain. So I'd highly recommend you avoid this thing. Now that, combined with the realization that I wasn't using my MacBook Pro as a portable at the office, pushed me to rethink things a bit. Instead of holding my laptop every day, I brought the Mac Studio here, docked the MacBook Pro at home, and now I just carry a Ugreen Thunderbolt 5 M.2 enclosure back and forth each day. All of my current projects and render files live on that drive, and I edit from it directly. And with an 8TB NVMe inside, I've got more than enough room for multiple projects. And this change has dramatically sped up my workflow, especially when it comes to relinking project files, and it's been a huge time saver as a result. Moving on to my monitors, I have two ProArt PA27 JCV monitors hooked into this using Thunderbolt. These things are fantastic. They're 5K matte displays with a built-in KVM, nearly as good as the Apple Studio displays, but half the cost. Best of all, they're color calibrated out of the box and perfect for creative work as a result. And for audio, I use a Rodecaster Duo, which has the exact same features as my Rodecaster Pro at home, it's just smaller. 3 computers and a microphone are hooked into this thing without issue. Speaking of my microphone, I have a Shure SM7B and an Elgato low-profile mic arm here. And I gotta say, that mic arm is way better than the original thanks to its gas spring and the stronger magnets for cable management. And the microphone? Well, I wanted to match what I had at home, and I think it's the perfect microphone for my voice. For speakers, I've got a set of Kanto YU2s with a 7-inch subwoofer. These sound great, but full disclosure, the original sub failed and getting a replacement was an absolute nightmare. Thankfully, the replacement's been solid. I also use a set of Audio-Technica ATH M50X headphones for editing, same as I use at home. These are amazing for the price and perfect for audio mixing. Also on the desk are 3 Stream Decks. The first Stream Deck Plus is connected to my Mac for video editing. The other is connected to my streaming PC for OBS controls. And the third Stream Deck, an XL, is used for lighting, scene control, and for Twitch. Next to that, I have an 8-bit Do wireless controller, which feels just like an Xbox controller, but has this nice charging dock, which I absolutely love. That said, while the shape is great, I've got to admit that it feels kind of cheap in the hand. It's very light. Don't buy this if you want something that feels premium. Now, I think that my lighting is probably the most significant upgrade compared to my home setup. I'm using Amaran 150C lights for both my key and fill lights. This is for sure overkill, but I wanted to make sure that I have flexibility if I move to a bigger space in the future, or if I decide to use these lights as practical lights instead of key and fill lights. I placed the key light on an Amaran tripod and have wall mounted the fill light with a newer wall mount. I'd recommend these lights or stands to anybody. I also love the Sidus Link app, which you can use to control all of your Amaran lights. My only wish is that there was a way to control the Amaran lights natively from the Stream Deck, but thankfully they retain their power state, so I can just use one of the Govee smart plugs to power them on and off. I've got to say it, if you want better visuals, start with lighting. I use the exact same Sony FX30 camera with a Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens, the same one I use at home, and people constantly say that my picture looks way better here at the office. That's 100% lighting. It's not the camera, it's the same camera. I've also got to point out this Bluetooth wireless controller for my camera. It allows me to zoom in and out, adjust focus, and even start recording. It's incredibly handy. I also feel it's worth mentioning that I installed blackout curtains here so that I can fully control lighting, because what good are studio lights if you can't control the ambient lighting? Now, the reason that I stuck with the Sony FX30 camera is its built-in fan. This means that it never overheats, which is really important to me because my ZV-10s were overheating during streams. Now, this camera sits behind the Elgato prompter, which is really my MVP of the setup behind the lighting. It's a game changer for meetings, streams, and recordings, and it doubles as an extra monitor when I'm not using it as a prompter. And lastly, I have an Elgato Facecam Pro set up as a desk cam. This is grossly underutilized, but it's something I already have on hand, so I wanted to do something creative with it. This space has dramatically improved my productivity. I don't have the distractions here that I have at home, and because I don't hang out here for the fun of it, it always feels like I should be working when I'm here. And ultimately, that is translated into me getting more work done during the day and needing to work less at night. I'm sleeping better, I'm with my family more, and I'm just a ton happier. But the space isn't perfect. The noise isolation could be better, but the biggest issue is that I'm on the same power breaker as both of the neighboring units. While most of the time this isn't a problem, during construction of the neighboring units, my power was going out routinely, which is less than ideal when you're recording. Most frustrating was that I don't have a breaker to flip in my unit, so I had to call maintenance and wait for them to flip it every single time. So when my lease is up, I might look for industrial type spaces, which I've found are cheaper, bigger, often better soundproofed, and sometimes even custom built for video production. But I'm here through the end of 2026, and honestly, that's completely fine, because despite the quirks, this is a wonderful creative workspace and YouTube studio, and I feel very privileged to have it.